Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Brown Bears Sports Report. I'm your host, Scott Cordisci. Glad you could join us. Our Brown Bears Sports Report is brought to you each week by United Healthcare. You put care into everything that you do. United Healthcare does too. United Healthcare health plans that care for you and your family every step of the way. See what care can do at UHC.com. Well, this week it gives us great pleasure to welcome to the Brown Bears Sports Report our women's ice hockey program. And joining us is their head coach, Carissa Wallach. Carissa, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Scott?
I'm doing great. Well, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. And you brought with you tonight your 5 senior student athletes. Let's introduce them to our viewers. First, we have a senior from Marshfield, Massachusetts, a forward on the team, Darby Malia. Darby, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having us.
Well, Darby, thank you for being with us. Megan Forrest, your teammate, a senior forward from Enfield, Nova Scotia, is with us. How are you, Megan?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being with us. KJ Bloomberg, a fellow senior from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. KJ, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Do you prefer KJ as opposed to Katie Jane?
Either or. KJ's.
Okay. KJ it is. KJ, your teammate Abby Nearest is a forward from nearby Beverly, Massachusetts. Abby, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Great, Abby. Thanks for being with us. And Lauren Rippey, a senior goalie from Plymouth, Michigan, is with us as well. Lauren, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well, thank you. Excited to be here.
Well, thank you all for being a part of the show. Coach, we'll bring it back to you. Obviously, no winter sports this season, so we didn't have any hockey to talk about. What's it been like for you and your student athletes not being able to lace up the skates, be together as a team in practice and in competition? I'm sure it hasn't been easy.
No, I mean, as you can imagine, it's very hard, especially for this group here. You know, as seniors, to have your last year kind of pan out this way is unexpected and very disappointing. You know, there's a lot of facets that obviously went into the decision for us to not have a season, but you know, I think as a program, we're trying to do our best to create some sort of normalcy. You know, whether it's with Zoom calls or whether it's with getting together for strength and conditioning, hoping to potentially get on the ice this semester. But yeah, it's definitely been a challenge. It's been really tough. And, you know, I think one of the things we always talk about is to just try to find the positive behind this, if there is one, and try to move forward. But I think having your teammates with you, and especially for these guys, having other people that are kind of going through the same thing, I think is definitely a little bit more helpful.
Darby, talk about that, what Coach just mentioned, maybe finding the positive in all of this. I know it's not easy for you and your fellow, senior classmates, not the way you guys hope to end your careers here at Brown, but, nonetheless, I know, it's brought a lot of people closer together. What do you view as maybe some of the positives that have come out of these past few months?
Yeah, definitely. I think that our coaches and team and all of our staff has done such a great job, making it feel as normal as possible with workouts in the fall and keeping us updated as soon as they know stuff. And our team Zooms have really been great. We've gotten to know each other a lot better. Just today we did Jeopardy and KJ ran it. So it's been really fun. And even though we're not competing on the ice in games, the support has been there and the positivity has been there. So I really think that it's been as good of an experience as it can be this semester so far.
Darby, I don't know if it seems like just yesterday or if it seems like a long time ago, but you sealed the win over RPI last January. Do you remember that game? Obviously, it was a victory for you guys last year, and I'm not sure if it was 2-0, but I know you had the second goal of the game for the team.
I do remember that. Yeah, I always love the RPI Union weekend. I think it's so fun, and I would give anything to be back in the rink with all my teammates. And it's just so fun. I mean, every game is a good time.
And Megan, likewise, I think you last year had the game-winning goal at home against RPI last year. Again, same question. Does it seem like a long time ago?
I think it seems like a while ago just because we haven't been on the ice a lot lately, but I still remember it super well. That feeling is awesome. Like winning, especially at home with all my teammates, was an amazing feeling.
How much do you miss being on the ice and in the locker room and just hanging out with your teammates?
A lot. I actually went and got my COVID test today, and I walked by the rink on the way back, and it was pretty sad to think that we haven't been there in over a year when we used to pretty much live in that building.
KJ, last year you scored goals in both games against Yale, I believe. What do you remember about that season now over a year ago? And what do you miss most about, I guess, being in season and being on the ice?
Well, I mean, it's a terrible feeling to not have our senior year. And I mean, the thing I miss most, I guess, is just being with the team and in warm-ups, just, kind of all getting together and laughing and, getting ready for the games. And that's kind of what I miss most, just being with the team, before games. And it's a crappy feeling to have it taken away for your last year. But like Darby said, the coaches have done a great job. Bringing everybody together and us getting to know the freshmen and everything. And I don't know, there's no other way to put it. It's just it's the worst feeling.
Abby, you were a captain on last year's team. In fact, you scored the game tying goal against Dartmouth last year. What do you remember about that season? And I just heard KJ talk about, helping the freshmen along and, help them become acclimated to the program. These are certainly unique circumstances, but I guess how important is that as someone who was a captain to provide that leadership during what are difficult times for everyone?
I think it's very important. Obviously, I've been in this role for a while, since my sophomore year. It's always important to keep looking at the positives, because dwelling on the negatives isn't going to help anyone. It's not going to help you grow. And with this big freshman class that we have, there's about 10 of them. And even though we don't have the chance to compete for Brown anymore, it's very important to us and to the rest of our team that we mold these freshmen into good humans, but also good hockey players, building good habits on and off the ice, doing building the culture that we want to have at Brown hockey, and kind of leave a legacy for them to continue and grow into.
Lauren, you had a career high 34 saves, not once, but twice your freshman year. And here it is, your senior year. Can you believe that the 4 years have gone by as quickly as they have?
No, they've flown by for sure. Way too short.
What do you miss most about, being with the team and just, normal times before the pandemic?
I think just being with everyone and really in a relaxed state. Now I can't even imagine being in a room with 5 people, let alone 20 of us, and then 20 from another school, and really just being able to get together and have a good time without having to worry about safety precautions or anything like that. Obviously, those things are important, but life is a little easier without them, for sure.
Coach, you took over now 3 years ago. So you coached 2 seasons before this past season was wiped away due to the pandemic. But I've talked to you about this before, and if you could talk about it again here tonight on the show, these young ladies, I think, have done a lot to help you try to implement the culture that you're trying to establish in this hockey program, right? Yet when you take over as a new head coach, no matter where it is, you need buy-in from the players that are there. And I think you got that from these 5 young ladies.
Yeah, this class has been great. And, that's one of the things I'm really proud of them for, is, as KJ said, it's crappy. It's a really crappy feeling. I tell them all the time, I could never have imagined if this would have happened my senior year. And, the way that these 5 women have handled themselves, it's been amazing to me. And, we talk about second semester and we talk about how that looks. And, it's the second semester of their senior year. They know that, their hockey career at Brown is over and they're moving on. And we kind of put them to the fire and said, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to be involved with workouts? And, if we are able to have regular workouts, the expectation would be the same as it is for everybody else. And, all 5 of them, without skipping a beat, said, I want to be involved. I want to be there. I want to, show the freshmen what kind of leadership I can have and, what's necessary to be a part of this program. And, for us as a coaching staff, that was really great to hear, because in some ways they had to kind of put aside their own feelings of how they're kind of dealing with, things and how things have been happening. And they put the program first, and that was awesome. So it has been really tough for them, but, they definitely have taken the high road and have basically been, whatever you need from us, we're willing to do. And it's been fantastic. So I don't know if I've even personally thanked you guys, but thank you for everything that you guys have done so far this year. It's been great.
Darby, I know freshmen weren't on campus in the first semester. Were you and many of your teammates on campus that first semester before everybody went home before the Thanksgiving break?
We were all here. We were actually all together. We were working out 6 days a week. And even though because of COVID regulations, we couldn't be together outside of workouts, I thought we really came together as a unit still and over Zoom and in conditioning in the mornings and lifts. I thought that even though, we couldn't be together like normal around campus, I think that we were still a unit. And yeah, we were all here. And, a lot of us took classes with the freshmen and tried to incorporate them in our lives as much as possible to make them feel that they were still a part of the team and bring them in, early and get them to know us. So yeah, even though the freshmen weren't on campus, we all were, and it was a great time all fall, and we tried to incorporate the freshmen as much as possible.
So Megan, just to follow that question up a little bit, your interaction with freshmen, mostly obviously all via Zoom, I assume, during the fall semester. And now that they're on campus, you'll get to see them, although I know with the COVID restrictions that might be difficult, at least to start. But was the interaction all virtually with the freshmen first semester?
Yeah, it was all over Zoom, which it was nice to see them and learn their names and everything for when we start working out with them now. Like Darby said, though, some of us took classes with them, so we also had some FaceTimes to study together, which was awesome. But yeah, it was all virtual.
So KJ, this is a big freshman class, a big class of first-year players coming into the program. So it's going to be important, I think, that this class make its mark on Brown women's hockey. Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely. I think they're going to be the class that kind of starts the program kind of over again. I don't know. They're a really good group of girls from the Zooms. And I was actually walking down Thayer Street the other day and I ran into a couple of the freshmen, and just through the Zoom calls that we've had, they're great people and they're ready to be here and they're ready to play. So I think they're going to be a great group of girls to get on the team and kind of start it off.
Abby, when you look back at your 3 years on the ice with your teammates, is there any one moment or moments that stand out to you that you'll walk away and always remember and take with you for the rest of your life?
Absolutely. I definitely think when Coach Wallig, some of her first games with us, we played Colgate and Cornell, and those two teams are very good, definitely top of our league, and they're in the top 10 teams in the country. And we swept them at home. And I don't know if that feeling, it's hard to describe, especially because it was such a big upset and not many people thought that we could do it. But in a way, I liked that. I liked that people didn't think that we could do it, because it showed that we had something in us and we had the fight, and that this program was very capable of growth.
Lauren, I know you're an economics concentrator. Is that accurate?
Yes, it is.
And do you have plans for after graduation this spring?
Yeah, so I was fortunate to intern with Boston Consulting Group over the summer and then receive an offer to go back. So once I graduate from here, I'll be joining them in the Detroit office, which I'm really excited for.
That's terrific. Congratulations. Darby, same
Thank you.
question to you. Biology concentrator. What do you plan on doing? Is med school in your future, or what are you thinking after graduation?
Yeah, so I'll be applying to medical school this May, June. And then it'll be all just the application process, secondary essays and interviews. So I'll be going through that process and hopefully working in a healthcare setting throughout, next year. And then hopefully I'll be in medical school by fall of 2022.
Well, that's great. Good luck. Megan, question for you. Neuroscience is your concentration. What are your plans in May?
So I have similar plans to Darby, but I'm going to apply to med school a year later. So I'll have 2 years off. I'm going to try and play hockey both years. I don't know where yet, possibly in the NWHL and doing a research job, and then maybe overseas the next year. But I definitely want to keep playing hockey before I get into med school, and I'm really busy all the time.
KJ, I see you're a biology concentrator. Is med school in the offing for you as well?
Yes, med school, I hope is definitely in my future. I plan on taking 1 or 2 gap years and working, getting some more experience in like a hospital setting and volunteering and kind of just doing stuff to help me and help my application and get in.
So, Abby, I know this year all student athletes are able to retain an extra year of eligibility. Unfortunately, in the Ivy League, it's 4 years to play for 4 years of eligibility. It's not 5 for 4. But did you or any of your teammates ever consider maybe looking at grad school and a school that maybe has women's ice hockey as a program to maybe use that year of eligibility?
That's definitely something I thought about, especially because at the beginning of this season, if you will, I had shoulder surgery, so I wasn't. If we had a season anyways, I wouldn't be able to play. And it's definitely something I've considered. I'm not entirely sure if it's something that I want to do. I definitely, in the future, I want to go to law school. So I think right now, I want to do some work in the paralegal field just to get my feet wet and then see where I go from there.
Are you currently a poli-sci concentrator? Is that correct?
I am, yes.
Okay, so law school is the next step, huh?
Hopefully.
So, Coach, let's talk a little bit about you. And you came to Brown after 13 years at Lake Forest and ran a super successful Division III program. And I'm curious, you had to build a program there, and you did so very successfully. Did the same things apply coming here to Brown and what you're trying to do, or is this maybe a little bit of a different animal, so to speak?
I think it's a different animal, and then it's the same. So it's kind of both. We're taking a program, like Abby said, that has a lot of potential to go very far. And, it's obviously Brown. It's a wonderful academic school. It's very well known. So that definitely, I think, is helpful in terms of trying to bring in, the right kids that we're looking for. It's harder because at Division III, you're competing against other schools, but there's no scholarships involved. So everyone's kind of on a level playing field when it comes to financial aid. Whereas here, we may be competing for a recruit that might be offered a full scholarship at another school. And, financially, it may not work out for her. And, the pull of an Ivy education may not be enough. So that's kind of, what we've been learning. And I think probably the biggest thing is just the general recruiting aspect. Recruiting has gotten younger and younger. They changed that rule about a year ago, but when Coach Paluch and I were first here, we were talking to kids that were in 8th grade, which was crazy. But that's what we were doing. We were talking to kids 8th grade and up. And at Division III, that was never the case. You were talking to kids when they entered into their senior year in high school, which was nice because they definitely had an idea of what they wanted to do. Whereas when you talk to someone who's in 8th grade and has not even gone to high school yet, how could they possibly know what they want for college? So that to me was the biggest difference, is just the general recruiting, and for us kind of getting our footing and getting our name out there and bringing in, the right kids. So that's been the biggest difference.
We talked about this incoming freshman class, and I had a chance to talk to them in a Zoom last semester. It's a good sized class, and I know you're very happy with these young ladies and look forward to them really helping this program take off. Yeah,
I'm excited. And I think that, obviously we were all looking forward to this season. I know our seniors were looking forward to playing with the freshmen, and that's why second semester is huge. And that's why it's fantastic that our seniors still want to be involved, because we do need their experience. We're in the weight room, we're on the ice. Like, our seniors need to be the ones to show our freshmen what it takes to be successful at this level, because they've done it now for the past, 3 years. So it's a mixed bag. We have a big freshman class and we do expect them to make an impact, but they can't do that alone. We need our returning players, our upperclassmen, and like I said, especially our seniors to really be able to step in and help out. It's scary for me to think about, next year we'll have this big freshman class and then we'll have another freshman class. And that's a lot of new players that have never played at the Division I level. So the better, or I should say the sooner that we can incorporate our current players to kind of help them and guide them, the better.
You must be excited, I would assume, with the renovations that are going to be starting on Meehan Auditorium, particularly for the players, new locker room space for them, a place where they're really going to want to hang out and be with each other, maybe more so than now. How much are you looking forward to that, and how much should that help the program in terms of recruiting down the line?
I'm really excited. I'm excited because Brendan and I have been able to have a lot of input, which I know can be very rare. So that's been really nice as they've asked our input. We did talk about this with the seniors. I feel like it's like another bit of a dagger for them. But I say you guys come back for alumni weekend and you get a chance to enjoy the locker room. But it's great because it really shows that the university is willing to put the support to the program. When you have nice facilities and things are up to date, it does end up attracting, kids that want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. So I'm really excited, and I think that everyone should be really excited about what it's going to look like and what it's going to do for our men's and our women's program.
All right, let's have some fun questions for the student athletes away from hockey for a second. Darby, what's the spot on Thayer Street you're going to miss the most after graduation?
Oh, that's a good question. I love every spot on Thayer Street. I really like Blue State Coffee. I like doing work there. Pre-COVID, like I would get all my pregame coffees there. I just really like the vibe in there. So yeah, I would say definitely Blue State Coffee.
All right, Megan, who's the class clown on the team? Who keeps everybody laughing and why?
Definitely KJ. Even just like someone mentioned earlier, we had Jeopardy, and they were some good questions and then some really funny questions, and I was almost in tears at one point.
KJ, is that intentional or unintentional in your part that you're the class clown, the joker, so to speak?
I just try to be myself, I like making people laugh. I think it's awesome. I don't know. I have a good time doing it.
Abby, what kind of hobbies do you have when you're not playing hockey or you're not doing schoolwork? What do you like to do with your free time?
That's a good question. I like to walk. I walk around everywhere. I just like to throw my headphones in and walk around. I think it's good. It's a good stress reliever for me, but also it's just fun to kind of explore Providence a bit.
Lauren, what are you going to miss most about Brown University when you graduate?
Honestly, this class and the rest of our team and my other friends. I mean, even with the 5 of us, we're all dispersing somewhere else, and that's pretty wild to me after 4 years together.
Darby, any TV shows that you've binge watched like most of America during the pandemic?
I don't know. I got really into reading which is, out of character, but I got really into reading, and I read some good books. I'm not a big Netflix girl.
Good for you. Most of us lazy people, we did become addicted to Netflix during the pandemic. I'm glad that you read. You're a better person than I am. I can tell you that unequivocally. Megan, how about you? Was there any TV show that you binge watched?
Not really binge watch, but I love The Good Doctor. So actually for a bit, they weren't recording any new episodes, which was super sad, but understandable. But then they started again. So I kind of binge watched the rest of those, and then Lenox Hill as well. So both medical shows.
All right, KJ, a music question for you. What is your music genre of choice, and who's your favorite music artist?
Well, my favorite artist would probably be Billie Eilish. I don't know what music category she is in because it's really different. But she's my favorite.
Okay.
I love listening.
Good enough. Abby, is there a preferred type of music that the team likes to listen to in the locker room, either, after practice or before games?
Honestly, it's kind of a mixed bag, and it definitely depends on who's on the aux. I mean, if I go on, I'll definitely throw some country. This is probably not what people want to hear before a game, but I definitely think we listen to a lot of rap, R&B. I don't know, it kind of ranges across the board, and it depends on the day and how practice went, honestly.
Lauren, tell us what your favorite and your least favorite road trips were, either in the Ivy League or ECAC, it doesn't matter.
Least favorite, Clarkson SLU, getting stuck in New York for 3 days. Even though we got really close, that was pretty brutal. Favorite, I like Harvard Dartmouth. It's fun to play them. They're good teams, competitive teams, but having that Ivy rival, and it's not a far drive, so that's nice.
Coach, we talked a little bit about recruiting earlier. Obviously, that has changed during the pandemic. It's all been virtual. Can you see this moving forward, that there will be more virtual recruiting, maybe something that really wasn't done in the past, but maybe you'll incorporate into your recruiting game in the future?
No, I can't stand it. It's really hard because some of the video will pan one way and the puck will be somewhere else. And then, or the video will stay at center ice. I'm not saying that everyone needs to be a professional when they videotape a game, but there's definitely a challenge there. I mean, I can't speak for other coaches. I can only speak for myself, but I would 10 times out of 10 prefer to watch in person. You know, you can see if someone's back checking, you can see how they, make changes. You can see what they're doing in the corners. It's so different. And then there's something about video where kids just look so much slower, and you know that they're not, but it's just the video aspect. So, I mean, I could comfortably say, no, I do not like to do video. And there's some coaches that do, but that is not me.
So your explanation made me laugh, and it's perfect because I have a son who's a junior in high school and he plays basketball in the winter, but he's in a boot right now because he has a stress fracture. So he has been relegated to camera duty. And literally before we started this Zoom tonight, I was watching the game of his team that he was filming, and I'm texting him, the camera's out of focus. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, there'll be times where I'll be watching a game and I'll text Coach Paluch and I'll be like, are you watching the same thing that I'm watching? And she's like, the camera hasn't moved for 5 minutes. So it's got its own set of challenges that no, thank you.
Coach, last question for you. What would you like to say to these 5 seniors as we wrap up the show?
Oh gosh. First of all, thank you. Thank you for everything that you guys did for this program. Thank you for everything that you guys have done this year. I know that this year has been incredibly difficult. And like I said earlier, you guys have just held yourself with such grace. I don't know what to say, to be honest, because I'm just so proud of you guys. This has been probably, I would say, one of the toughest years that you guys have faced. And I have yet to hear one of you complain. And like I said, all you guys have done is to ask what you can do to help this program and help each other. So it's, I obviously know we have your back and we're always thinking of you guys, but we wish you the very best and know that you guys are going to be very successful no matter what you do.
Coach, very well said. And Darby, Megan, KJ, Abby, Lauren, thank you for representing Brown women's hockey, the Brown Athletic Department, and Brown University so well for 4 years. And good luck with whatever the future holds for all of you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. That's the Brown women's ice hockey team, our guest on this week's edition of the Brown Bears Sports Report.
This has been a presentation of Learfield IMG College.